Alright, welcome back to More Than Peach Gaming. I'm your host, Moonay, and I want to talk a little bit about the state of the game, which has just ended with the Perfect World staff and Cryptic uh, with Arc Games kind of working together with that great Q&A as well as news update, more or less, with the game. And I know they only do it once every uh, year or maybe twice a year. I'm not really too sure on how often they do them, but uh, there was a lot of things that were going on. Okay, and one of the big things I noticed when I was actually watching was a very sleight of hand kind of way that they addressed some of the issues and talked about things that I don't think people really cared so much about. So they started it off with talking about how, things are to come, uh, be expectant. They talked a bit about Foundry, which for a lot of people who are on consoles, like myself, I'm on PS4 and I play exclusively on PlayStation 4. Uh, Foundry is not something that has anything to do with the players on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox. So bringing that up and talking about that during your stream has definitely alienated quite a few people, especially spending, I think it was close to about 10 minutes talking about that, which is a sixth of your time. Okay. A lot of people had questions because they were not very interested in uh, Foundry at all. Though there was a few questions about uh, PvP, uh, and they did address them. They're like, "Oh yeah, we could bring in this PvP map that they've had forever," which was kind of cool. They talked about bringing back the original Castle Never, which they claimed that took players when they first launched it an hour or two to get through, and they have somehow cut it down, and that's how we got our version that we have now. But that's not the main meat of what I want to discuss here, though. There was a discussion about uh, the inclusion of fixing T9G, which is Throne of the Nine Gods. I was really happy to hear that they were actually going to work on it. Me as a player, though, I've never ran it, but I deal with enough people who run it on a regular basis. They want it fixed, and eventually I want to run it. So I hope it works properly when I go and run it. That being the case, they didn't really delve really into how they were fixing it or what the time frame for that was going to be. All they said is that they were going to fix it. They also mentioned that there were several other problems that had been around since, well, October, and that they also needed fixed, and how they were going to try to streamline everything with things that are working right now. One thing that I thought was really interesting about their discussion was that they said that the random queues are still not working as they really expected, and that they might end up changing nevertheless. Uh, I'm not exactly happy about that because it sounds like the way they actually want it to work is instead of the way that we have it now, which is when you go to your queues, you can look at, you know, dungeons, your random things, or you can run dungeons based off of what you can currently run based off your level and item level and, other requirements, like if you opened up a campaign or the like. Well, it sounds like that they want to do some items level scaling. Okay, I don't know about you, but imagine running a epic level dungeon when I had 7,500 item level. The way it actually sounds is that they're going to reduce everyone else's item level to make it more of an even fight, so everybody has a chance to get on the top of leaderboards and so forth. I don't necessarily like this idea, mainly because I generally play a support class, and I don't need my item level reduced any further than what it is and become weaker. And I'm pretty sure there are several people I play with that also will not like that because in some cases, these other players, as well as me, we carry people through dungeons for their first time or because they need to run it because they need to become more powerful. I know here soon I'm planning on being carried through a dungeon simply so I can get the gear so I can actually be more prepared to run the dungeon on my own. The only problem is that I don't actually have the gear that's properly associated with going into the dungeon and beating it successfully with a, you know, minimal level party. I don't know anybody who actually would be in favor of this system, and I heard some complaints in the chat on Twitch while we were watching it that said, don't do it. And I think that's a very important step, and hopefully they will not do that because the item level scaling will make things so much worse. People will just stop running content altogether. Okay? Because I know people who are item level 15,000 to 17,000. You know, if they get nerfed to what my level is, which right now my level at on my main is about 12,000. If they get nerfed to me, to my item level, I'm taking away 3 to 5,000 item level from them. And if that scales with their power, their crit, their defense, their HP, and all that other stuff, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to want to run with me. So that is not a good plan. That is not a good plan at all. Additionally, they did talk about Marauders, about how it was supposed to be better for doing stuff, but again, people have somehow managed to compromise the system and abuse it by just defending one of the uh, supply spots. And that was not intended, and they said that they were going to try to do something about fixing that. I don't know if it's to make more enemies or make it harder, give them more HP, or require that you actually have to do all three, or so many, you know, supply stacks for you to be successful. So that was kind of irritating, and I was just like, don't mess with it. And then they brought out the new artwork for the new mod, but it was artwork for the website, which nobody really cared about. They're like, can we just move on to Q&A because we have a lot of questions. There were a lot of questions. A lot of people were asking when there would be rebalancing for certain classes. I saw them for uh, Scourge Warlocks, Paladins, Trickster Rogues, and even the Great Weapon Fighter. I think I keep on seeing Great Weapon Fighter nerfs being called, and Trickster Rogue being buffed, and Scourge Warlocks being fixed. So I don't know exactly why the community is like that, but they've also said that they wanted PvP fixed. They want more maps for PvP, and they addressed that, which was kind of nice. But then there were a lot of other questions pertaining to certain things not working and when they'll get fixed. In particular, the one that I was really curious about was the Astro Diamond vouchers. Uh, Specifically, those that were in campaigns and uh, the Dragonflights that were, you know, the strong boxes of Astro Diamonds, which don't seem to drop anymore for whatever reason. And this has apparently been a recent issue, but I don't know how many platforms or how widespread it is. Uh, and the weird thing is, like, apparently the Dragonflight's just not giving them. And then when you're doing campaign task, which I'm going to go to a campaign task real quick. On this character, I'm not very far and everything, but I believe it is Underdark. Oops, here it is. I can select it, and we have Stronghold vouchers. These vouchers no longer give Astro Diamond vouchers. for whatever reason. Instead, they give gold vouchers. Anything that used to give Astro Diamonds now gives gold for the vouchers that are in campaigns. And so there's a lot of people who are asking, what's going on? Is it that they're trying to get Astro Diamonds from the players out of circulation by requiring this? And if so, how's that fair to anybody who's not Guild Hall 20? And many guilds are still struggling trying to get those up and put in their coffers. I know my guild recently we noticed that we were at a severe deficiency. So we were like, well, might as well have everybody start kind of donating a few, and the ones that are in charge donating like hundreds, if not thousands, of the Astro Diamond chests from leadership. So luckily, leadership still gives them, but that's only a matter of time until someone notices and just keeps doing that, or the management decides to either fix our Astro Diamond problems with Dragonflight and the campaigns, or they decide to nerf leadership and not allow us to get Astro Diamond chest. Uh, this wouldn't be the first time that leadership would have been nerfed, as I've been told that it used to give Astro Diamonds, just like Invocations used to give Astro Diamonds straight out, which both of them no longer do. So I'm wondering if that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to suck the Astro Diamonds back out of the market. Unfortunately, if they do that, the exchange will drop, of course, and we'll be back probably closer to about 350 or even 300 Astro Diamonds per Zen. So that is just something that I see what's going on. Unfortunately, they didn't get to all of the questions that were asked. They ran out of time. They only had an hour, and they spent a lot of time just talking about stuff to come and things that they're excited about. They did say that they're excited about the 5th anniversary. They said that there would not be sorry any uh, oh god event. So for the 5th anniversary, they're saying that they're not going to give any coalescent wards for everybody, because someone was saying 5 coalescent wards every day. And it's like, no, they're not going to do that. So unfortunately, that's something that you're not going to get, and it's kind of disappointing. But I think they're really thinking this through. Anybody that has not been on Neverwinter for an entire year, there are some benefits for the anniversary, including the Protector's, oh god, I think it's called the Protector's Key, which allows you to gain access to this spot. It's the Protector's Garden Key. I have it on my main, but I don't have it on my alternate characters. It allows you to get to the roof of this building and be able to basically access all the regular anemones that a normal area would have. I think there's a guild bank up there, but it has all the other things, even including a teleportation portal, so you can actually leave and go somewhere else, which is kind of nifty, but not entirely necessary. Now, this has caused some undue rest with a lot of people, and I know that some people are probably not so happy about the way that this uh, state of the game actually was presented, mainly because the state of the game is what they're doing now and what is coming up short term. They said they planned throughout the end of 2018, or are in the process of planning it out. I'm hoping that it is not a repeat of the previous 2 years that I've been playing this, where we get some new events as well as some changed rewards for some of those events, because the like events like the Winter Festival had the same rewards last year and this year as each other, and that wasn't very exciting. So different rewards would be nice, but same ratio, same way it works would be great because I really like how that functions. It is the main event that brings me to this game. Without it, I probably don't think I would even be playing right now. Okay, so keep the Winter Festival. I'm just gonna put that out there. It's one of the best events that they had. Uh, One of the other things that I noticed that they did not talk about is how many mods they're actually going to be putting out there and how to address the rumors that the game would be doing a relaunch or a sequel or uh, dying. So nothing like that was mentioned at all. Uh, I'm wondering if they just didn't have time or they would rather just avoid talking about it because I have heard several people in a, plenty of guilds and alliances actually talking about how there is speculation that the game will die after mod 15 and they will either A, drop it entirely, or they will B, have a Neverwinter 2. Now, if they actually have Neverwinter 2, will we actually get to keep anything to go back into it that we've already built? I know some people speculate that will be the case, and others have said, well, no, that'd be completely pointless. I'm hoping it does, because everyone who's built up their characters, built up their guilds, done so many things in their professions, acquired loads of wealth in game, I want them to be able to go on to the next without losing everything. And if they decide to go to Neverwinter 2, I feel like only the most hardcore players will advance, and those that are not hardcore will drop, and they will just get new players. So it is what it is at that point. But it all wrapped up fairly nicely. There were a lot of off-shot comments that I don't think were really appropriate in the Twitch chat, but it is what happens, unfortunately, whenever anybody does a live stream. So, with all of that, I think they did a pretty solid job at addressing some of the major issues that were plaguing a lot of players. Um, and unfortunately, I feel like they ate up a little bit too much time with the Foundry as well as the art, especially the art. I don't think as many people cared about the art, especially when they were like, "Oh, we're gonna show this," and then somebody in chat asked, "Why are we looking at this? And are they part of the development team? Why isn't this person working on development of the game and fixing problems rather than doing art?" And they had to explain, "Well, this person only does art, and it's only for the website." And I was just like, "Then why do we need to see that?" And I was like, "Just go on," is what was going through my mind the entire time. We need to get to the more important things other than the art because players in the game, they don't really care about the art that's on the website. Not really. I think they're more interested in fixing the problems that are already existing in the game that are plaguing them, their friends, their guilds, their alliances, and the general community. Because they want to make sure that they're playing a game that's actually working. And when something's not working, that's where the problems start. Okay? And I don't think they did enough of that. And I also feel like even though they didn't address it in there, even on their forums, they don't address it properly in a timely manner because it's been brought up, I think, more than once. I think me and one other person were in the chat for Twitch. I think it was almost every minute, if not every 30 seconds, we were asking about the problem with the Astro Diamond chest. And no response whatsoever because we want to know. We want to be able to go back to our alliances and answer them truthfully what the heck is going on with these. And unfortunately, we were not even looked at. Or if we were, we weren't responded to. So, hopefully, this was a good way to look at this and see what's going on. I'm hoping that if you missed the uh, State of the Game stream, that you take a look at my video and you watch it through entirely. Maybe comment on what you think was the good part of the stream, uh, and the bad, and what you really wanted to see in the stream if it wasn't acknowledged, and possibly what was the most important part of that stream. Because I'm kind of curious because there's a lot of people who don't watch it. They just wait for like the script notes later on, and they're just like, well, I'll get the abridged version from somebody else writing it out. I don't think that's the right way to do it. Getting their genuine responses for the questions and being there is probably more important. But I'm really curious about what people actually thought about it, and if you think that they're not doing enough or they're doing plenty and they got their hands full. All right. Well, thank you for watching. This has been More Than Peachy's Gaming. Have yourself a great day.